Hello everybody, and how are we all doing there? So welcome back to the next episode in this vlog series. So my name is Andy, and this week's topic is going to be on experimental writing. So you should have seen the post from William over on the WordPress site, so please go and check that out if you haven't done already, but some of you may well have found me through there anyway. So we will get straight to it. So I thought what would be really fun to look at this week is Virginia Woolf, who is very well known for sort of experimental techniques in her writing, and more specifically, a technique that I sort of really enjoy and always love to read is her stream of consciousness. So I'm just going to read out a little bit of an example, then we can look at that a bit closer together afterwards. So let's go. What a lark, what a plunge. For so it had always seemed to her when, with a little squeak of the hinges, which she could hear now, she had burst open the French windows and plunged at Bourton into the open air. How fresh, how calm, stiller than this, of course. The air was in the early morning, like the flap of a wave, the kiss of a wave, chill and sharp, and yet, for a girl of 18 as she then was, solemn, feeling as she did, standing there at the open window, that something awful was about to happen, looking at the flowers, looking at the trees, with the smoke winding off them and the rooks rising, falling, standing, and looking, and Peter Wall said, musing among the vegetables. So we'll end it on that bit there. So that is just an example of Virginia Woolf trying to really put you into the mind of the character. She's still retaining sort of authorial control, where stream of consciousness isn't just sort of like, necessarily word association where you start off with one particular word and you go on from something to the next. But she's trying to place the reader in that character's mind, and she's giving up sort of specific details that you wouldn't normally sort of necessarily see there. So let's have a look at this bit here. This is the bit that I sort of really enjoy, and it's sort of really admire in her writing. So she's got how fresh, how calm, stiller than this, of course, the air. So you might often, when we're writing, if we were to describe the air, so the air was calm, or we might say there was a nasty chill, bitterly chill sort of in the air, but she's gone on to say how fresh, so how fresh, how calm, still in this, of course. So she's trying to replicate sort of what you might see necessarily when you step outside into the open air. You're not just necessarily seeing one thing, it's quite still, it's quite calm. And then it's also feeling fresh, she's sort of playing on a few different things there. The air was in the early morning, so it's the early morning air, like the flap of a wave, the kiss of a wave, chill and sharp. And what she really does in this little bit here, so it's got early morning, semicolon, like the flap of a wave, semicolon, like the kiss of a wave, semicolon, chill and sharp, and yet. So she's sort of fragmenting up all of these, each little bits, to sort of break down these characters' thoughts. She's still describing that setting and creating an atmosphere here for you, but it's really clever because she's managing to get quite a lot of different information over to you without it seeming incoherent. So let's have a look at another bit within here. So later on in that passage she also says, standing there at the open window, that something awful was about to happen, looking at the flowers, at the trees with the smoke winding off them and rooks rising, falling, standing. So she's not just placing her at this window looking out, worried that something's going to happen here. She's literally sort of, she's got something on her mind, she's thinking something's going to happen, but then she's saying what the rest of her mind's absorbing. So she's seeing the smoke, she's taking the flowers in, she's seeing all these different things at the same time, as well as sort of standing there and feeling, God, something really awful is about to happen. So it's a really interesting way how she's done this and incorporated it into, it's quite a sort of clever technique that she's done. I've just got a little exercise that I thought might be quite fun for everybody to do, to sort of have a go at trying to do this yourselves. So I'll just get that up now for you. So the exercise is quite simple. So it's literally, so think of an object. So it can be anything, it can be an animal, a plant, or a mountain. I've got this lovely plastic bottle here. So we're going to use that. Oh, it just popped out a bit there, didn't it? So we're going to use that one. And think about, so anything that doesn't normally have a voice necessarily, and try writing a stream of consciousness depicting the thoughts and feelings and moods, or their opinions of the world around it. So you could try and have a bit of fun with this bottle, for example. So you could have his thoughts and feelings are, you know, oh, why have I got this water trapped inside me all day? You know, I'm just carrying on. I just want to have a nice sort of normal life, you know, and I've got to always carry this water around, and it's getting squirted, and I'm getting squished, and I'm getting squeezed and bubbled up like that. So a bit sort of rambly. But what I really want you to sort of nail into, guys, is try and have it all in one long sentence. So whether this is sort of 3, 4, or 5 lines long, which is very, very long for a sentence, and try and break it up. You can just break it up just with commas if you don't want. You don't have to use semicolons or anything like that, but just try and break it up, and in each little section have something a bit different. So you might start off and have, so he was squeezed tightly by his thirsty owner. All he wanted was a moment of peace alone to himself, where he wasn't filled with water, where he wasn't in the room surrounded by smoke coming in through the window and outside, and the smells from the street of the people walking past and by, and he wasn't alone for a moment where he could have his thoughts to himself, and peace and happiness is what he wanted, just to be alone and empty and not drank. So that was very experimental, guys. I just did that sort of off the top of my head, really, and it was just kind of trying to encapsulate a little bit of everything. So what you kind of want to focus on, so think about the thoughts and the feelings of the object. As I say, this can be just really, really have a lot of fun with this. It can be totally fictional. Obviously, this bottle of water isn't that unhappy. It's used quite regularly, probably more than it has ever been at this point in time. So I'm drinking a lot of water each day. Anyway, all joking aside, so just try and focus on sort of the feeling of the object, what necessarily they're wanting, so their desire. So then the bottle was wanting to be outside, and then just think about a little bit about their surroundings, so what they are in. You know, a lot of us are probably inside, so you use that as inspiration. You know, maybe it's using a saucepan from the kitchen. You know, is he being left alone? Has he been left alone? Is he one that's not been used quite a lot? It sounds quite fun and silly, but it's a great sort of way to do this. And then just remember to try and use your punctuation. If you want to use colons and semicolons to sort of really break it up, as a sort of separating a feeling from sort of a more visual element, but if you just want to use commas, just have a go and just try and at least have it 3 to 4 lines long without having a full stop in there, and just have a great fun with this experimental technique, guys. So that's it for this week, guys. So thank you very much again for coming to see me in my room. I hope you are enjoying this series of vlogs, and I look forward to seeing you all next week, and have a great time and fun with that exercise. Take care, everyone. See you all. Bye now.